Hey guys, new video, February gaming pickups. I'm kind of shocked. I don't think I've. It's been a long time since I've done 2 months in a row where I've actually gotten enough games to do a pickups video. That said, it's probably going to be the last monthly pickups video for a while. March, I can only see myself getting maybe one or two games. And I got a few older games this month. I think that's why I was able to get enough for a pickups video. But I've been kind of in a DS mood. I want to try to get a lot of the DS games that I'd sold before that I'm trying to get back and kind of grow my DS collection a little bit because DS games are kind of getting hard to find, especially complete. And I kind of want to get them all before they disappear, and a lot of them are actually getting up there in price, unfortunately, especially on eBay. So I figure now is probably the time to be looking for DS games. So yeah, a bunch of DS games, a PS4 game, and a 3DS game. Only two new releases for February, but yeah, let's get started with let's do the DS games first. Okay, so first we've got I picked up Dragon Quest V, and this is sealed. And I picked up Dragon Quest VI. Now, yeah, both of them. Now, I had all of the Dragon Quest games on DS except for 5. This is the only one I didn't have like a few years ago, and I sold all of the Dragon Quest games stupidly. So now I got to get 4 and 9, and it's weird because Dragon Quest V and 4 used to be the hardest ones to find. Like I could not find 5 anywhere, but Square Enix reprinted 4 and 5 actually, and now you can actually get it on their website. And it's been on sale multiple times. So if you want to get 4 and 5, they're not that hard to find. 9 is not that hard to find either because Nintendo published it and Nintendo put out a lot of copies. 9 was a very popular game, probably the most popular game in the series after 8. It was one of the best-selling DS games, I'm pretty sure. But Dragon Quest VI is now the most expensive and hardest to find DS game. And I went online, and this game is going for 80 plus in Canada. So I was a bit worried. I was like, oh shit, I'm never going to be able to get this now because I did not want to pay $80 for this. And Mr. RPG Crazy here on YouTube, he notified me that a copy was selling on Amazon.ca for $35. And I was like, oh shit. So I asked the seller if it was complete, and he's like, yeah, it's come with a manual. It's pretty much brand new. And I was like, oh shit, I better buy this before it's gone. And luckily I was able to snag it. It's a Canadian version of Dragon Quest VI, so it's got that really ugly plays in French and English there on the top. But whatever, I'm very very happy that I was able to actually snag this because I don't think this is gonna get a reprint. Nintendo published this one. Square Enix didn't publish it. Nintendo doesn't ever do reprints, especially of older games. Like they're starting to do it more often, I find, but not with older games. Like DS is so long ago now that I don't foresee a print run of this. So yeah, I would expect this to be the rarest and most expensive Dragon Quest game on DS for a while. And I want to get all the Dragon Quest games on DS. I gotta find 4 and 9 now. They're not too pricey. I might just grab them online because 5 I got if an eBay seller was selling this for a pretty good price. And yeah, you can get brand new copies of 5 really easily. It's just cool because on 3DS you're going to be able to play Dragon Quest 4 through 11 actually after when 11 comes out on 3DS as well, which is crazy. You can play most of the series on the 3DS, and I think that's really cool. So I would like to get all of them, and that's a series I'd really like to get into. 5 seems like it would be my favorite out of all the ones I've seen. I've tried to get into 4 before, and I couldn't quite get into it, but I'd like to try again, so I definitely need to get 4. But yeah, some more DS games. I went to my local EB Games, and I found a copy of The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks complete. And the reason I bought this, now I've talked about this game before. I hate this game. I think it's terrible. I think it's an awful Zelda game. But it's one I would like to give one more chance to, because I played Phantom Hourglass and this, the 2DS Zelda games, like years ago, and I hated both of them. Phantom Hourglass I finished, and I hated it. This one I didn't even get halfway through. I stopped playing this one pretty pretty early on due to an annoying musical instrument in here that I just did not know how to do. And then the train, the way I traveled on the overworld was really annoying and obnoxious too. But I figure I want to give this one another shot because I didn't get very far. And looking online, this game is starting to get expensive. Like, it's not extremely expensive, but it's like $60 plus. For whatever reason, this is rising in price rapidly, whereas Phantom Hourglass has kind of stayed the same for a while. So when I saw this at my EB Games, I was like, you know what, I better pick this up now before, or in case I never see it again. So yeah, I don't know when I'll get to this because, yeah, I've always hated this game, but I do want to give it another shot. You never know. There's been a lot of games I've played where I've hated them, and I've come back to them years later and found that I actually do enjoy it. So you never know with Spirit Tracks. And then finally, the other 3DS games. It's like a 3-pack here. I've got the Castlevania games on the DS. We've got the Order of Ecclesia, Portraits of Ruin, and of course Dawn of Sorrow. And yeah, these you can get on videogamesplus.ca. They sell a triple pack, all 3 Castlevania games for like, what was it, like 80 or 90 bucks? It's like $25 to $30 for each one, and these are brand new. So that's, I don't know, to me that's a pretty good deal. You probably get them a lot cheaper in the US, but I figure I might as well get all 3 of them in one shot. And I did have 2 of these before. I had Dawn of Sorrow and I had Order of Ecclesia. And I Portrait of Ruin I've never played. The Dawn of Sorrow is another game I'd like to give another shot to because the touchscreen stuff just completely drove me up the wall when I played it, because when you kill a boss, you have to draw a correct sign to kind of seal the boss on the bottom touchscreen. And those sequences, like, I thought that they required, like, it was just crazy. The responsiveness was just not there for me, and I would always fail those, and then you'd have to fight the boss again. It was infuriating. But I feel like maybe I was being a bit too harsh, and I quit a little too early, and it's probably not that big of a deal, especially since most people think this is like one of the best games in the entire series. So yeah, I'll definitely have to try this one again, though I want to play Area of Sorrow first on the GBA, because this is, I'm pretty sure, a direct sequel to that. And then Order of Ecclesia, which I have played this, and I have finished this, and this is a really good game. It's weird, though. The structure of this game is very different for Castlevania. It's got all the RPG elements of the Metroidvania games, like leveling up and equipment, but there's like a hub world that you kind of keep returning to, and it's, in that way, the structure's kind of different. It's very difficult too. This game is like one of the hardest Castlevanias I've played. Some of the bosses in this were just insane, but it's fun. I definitely actually preferred this to Dawn of Sorrow when I played this. I would like to play it again. So yeah, I'm glad to finally get all these 3 Castlevanias. But Portrait of Ruin is the big one. I haven't played this at all, so that should be interesting. But I would probably play Dawn of Sorrow first, then Portrait of Ruin, then Order of Ecclesia again at some other point. But yeah, the Castlevania games, all 3 are not too expensive right now. They might get up there in price, but I don't know. For now, they're not too bad. You still find like brand new copies pretty easily. So yeah, let's talk about some of the new releases now. Only two for February. The first one is Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and this game was an impulse buy for me. I was iffy on this game. I didn't know whether I wanted to get it or not. I'd heard great things. Almost everybody that was playing this game was saying that it was a fantastic RPG. NeoGAF, I've been reading a lot of NeoGAF threads, and people seem to be really enjoying this game. And I saw a lot of people say that even if you don't like Digimon or don't know Digimon a whole lot, you'll probably still enjoy this because it's just a good RPG, and it's very similar to the SMT series. So I was like, you know what, I like monster collecting RPGs sometimes, so let me give this a shot. And wow, this game is awesome. Like, seriously, this game is a huge surprise for me. Now, it's not perfect. I will say, like, I'm about 35 hours in this game at the moment. I don't know whether a review for this is going to go up before this video does, because I'm recording this video a little early in February. But Basically the only thing I don't like about this game is the story. I think the story is incredibly boring, and I think there's way too much of a story focus. Now, admittedly, that's maybe a little unfair because it's called Digimon Story. I mean, it's supposed to be story focused, but I find it kind of gets in the way sometimes of the actual gameplay, which is why I really enjoy this game. The gameplay in this game is stellar. Really fun, fast-paced, turn-based battle system. The Digimon collecting is really fun. And the Digivolve system is excellent, where you'll have your Digimon and you can kind of evolve them into different monsters. It's not like Pokemon where you have one Pokemon will turn into another at level 34 or whatever, and that Pokemon will turn into another at 45. This, you can change into multiple Digimon, depending on what Digimon you're kind of evolving, and you need to fulfill requirements to get some of like the Mega Ultimate Digimon. Like they might need certain stats, which is, I don't know, it's really addictive. Like, the whole monster collecting component of this is very addictive. The gameplay's fun. I love the dungeon crawling. The setting, it's Tokyo. It takes place in Tokyo, which is awesome. It's got this great visual style to it. The soundtrack is excellent. It's just a really solid RPG. I mean, this game kind of blew me away a little bit. Like the story is the only thing that I don't like about it. So yeah, expect a review on this. I'm very glad I bought this, and if you love Digimon, you're probably already playing this. But if you've liked SMT and the persona elements there, where you're getting different personas, I'd say give this a shot. I think it's actually a really damn good game. You can also get it on Vita. Asian English copy. You have to get it off PlayAsia, but you can also play this on the Vita, which is cool. And it was originally a Vita game in Japan, but it transfers to the PS4 quite nicely too. I think there's some spotty textures sometimes, but yeah, really really surprising. I'm really enjoying this game quite a bit. And the final game, the last new release here, of course, I had to get Fire Emblem Fates. This is Conquest. I was looking for the special edition that has all 3 games on one cart, and I can't find that anywhere. It's sold out, and you have to pay ridiculous prices on eBay. Honestly, it's kind of bullshit that Nintendo did that, because I imagine most people are going to want all 3 games, and to have all of them on one cart, but only in this limited edition is, I don't know. I don't like that, but. I bought this, and I was able to get, if you buy one version of this game, Conquest or Birthright, you can get the other digitally for for a reduced price. This was, in Canada it's a little more pricey, but this was like, I think, $50, and then it was like $25 for Birthright as a downloadable. So I decided to go with that. And I actually wanted to get Birthright, the physical copy of Birthright, but this is the only one that was at my EB Games. It looks like this game's already selling out, which is, it's crazy to me how popular Fire Emblem's gotten now since Awakening. But I haven't played this one too much yet, but I am going to start Conquest first, and then I'm going to move on to Birthright, and then Revelations when that comes out later. But so far, the story in this is immediately more interesting than in Awakening. Like, I'm already invested in the story. I think it's really cool. I love the whole kind of how there's 2 kingdoms and you have to side with one. I think it's very interesting. So far, I like the characters. And, of course, it's that classic Fire Emblem gameplay from Awakening that's really enjoyable, too. So, yeah, not too far. And I want to finish Digimon before I finally finish this. But definitely expect a review on all 3 of these games. I was planning on waiting to play Fire Emblem Fates, but I couldn't resist the temptation. I had to get it. I loved Awakening so much, and I just want more Fire Emblem, so I knew I had to get this, and this is easily the most anticipated game for February for me, especially after finishing Awakening. But yeah, Fire Emblem Fates. So yeah, those are all the pickups. What did you guys pick up in February? What are some of the new releases? Have you guys played any of these? Or I imagine most people are probably playing Fates. That seems to be the big February game, but trying to think what else came out in February. I can't remember at the moment. I'm sure there's a few other things I was probably like relatively interested in, but I've just decided to wait on. But yeah, that's it, guys. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.